Traditional machine stress graders work by physically bending a board between two support rollers and measuring how much deflection occurs in the middle. You can see that if a constant force is applied by the load roller, the board will bend more at the weaker points and less at the stronger points. Machine stress grading technology has evolved a lot over the years, particularly for the pines. The latest scanning machines use sonar and X-ray technology to analyze the wood and assess the strength of a piece without needing to bend it at all. Most plantation pines are now graded under a new system called MGP, or Machine Graded Pine. We'll talk more about this system in the next lesson, but for now, let's concentrate on machines that use traditional F grades. In order to understand how machine stress grader calculates F grades, it's important to know the difference between bending strength and bending stiffness. The bending strength of a piece is derived from the point at which the piece breaks under a load, called the modulus of rupture, since this is the pressure required to actually rupture the fibers. The F grade of the piece is based on the MOR divided by a safety factor. This is why the F grade is called the safe working stress in bending. By contrast, the bending stiffness of a piece is a measure of its modulus of elasticity. The higher the MOE, the less elastic it will be, so the more resistant it is to deflection under a load. Fortunately, there is a close relationship between MOR and MOE. If there wasn't, the machine would have to break every piece to find its actual point of rupture before it could derive an F grade. But because the stiffness of the board is a good indication of how much stress it can take before the fibers rupture, the machine can measure the MOE by running the timber across two rollers spaced apart, and use a formula to work out the MOR and then the F grade. In most boards, the grade will vary along the length, depending on the size and positioning of knots and other defects. So the machine sprays bursts of paint along the piece to mark the different grades, and uses the lowest one as the overall grade. This is sometimes shown on the end of the board in a long stripe of colour.